The Los Angeles Lakers have been searching for consistency throughout the 2025-26 NBA season, and after going through a rough stretch that tested the patience of players, coaches, and fans alike, the team appears to be finding its footing. Back-to-back blowout victories over the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings have given the Lakers organization a much-needed breath of fresh air, and at the center of that revival stands one man, Luka Doncic. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Doncic, who joined the Lakers ahead of this season in one of the most talked about moves in recent NBA history, has wasted no time asserting himself as the undisputed leader of this team. He has taken full ownership of the offense, the locker room culture, and the pressure that comes with wearing purple and gold in Los Angeles. Head coach JJ Redick, who has been building his coaching identity since taking over the franchise, was effusive in his praise of Doncic following the win against the Kings. And the word he used to describe the Slovenian superstar was one that stuck: daring. Yeah, Coach K used to always use the word daring. There's a daring to Luka's game, Redick told reporters after the game. It's what makes him such a special player. That quality and a fearless willingness to attempt plays that most players wouldn't even consider was on full display during a critical stretch in the third quarter against Sacramento. The Lakers had fallen into a lull, struggling to generate clean looks and allowing the Kings to climb back into a game that had been well in hand. The ball movement stagnated, the pace dragged, and the team seemed unable to break free from the defensive pressure being applied. That's when Redick called a timeout to reset, and that's when Doncic took over. What followed was nothing short of a masterclass in basketball intelligence. Doncic split a double team and finished at the rim with poise. He threaded a wraparound pass that had the crowd at Crypto.com arena buzzing. He delivered a perfectly timed skip pass to Rui Hachimura coming off a screen, a pass that required Doncic to read the defense before the play had even fully developed, identifying that the opposing team was tracking a specific assignment rather than switching. Hachimura got a wide-open three-point look because of Doncic's processing speed and anticipation. He split the blitz and scores at the rim. He has the wraparound pass, the anticipation, Redick continued. Not every team switches that. They usually track their five and they switch with the guy coming off the chin screen. And he read that before it even happened. So he just, again, processing speed was spectacular in that stretch. It is that combination of on-court vision, composure under pressure, and the audacity to trust his reads in real time that makes Doncic one of the most difficult players to game plan against in the modern NBA. Opponents can study him all week, draw up defensive schemes specifically designed to limit his influence, and he will still find a way to make the right play when the moment demands it. What makes this even more impressive is the context. These were wins over teams that are not considered legitimate playoff threats this season, and Redick was careful to note that. However, the manner in which Doncic handled the adversity within those games, the ability to respond to a team's push without forcing matters, without rushing shots, and without abandoning the structure of the offense, speaks to a level of basketball maturity that goes far beyond his years. JJ Redick has not been shy about expressing his admiration for his star player. Earlier this season, the first-year head coach publicly referred to Doncic as a major stakeholder in the Lakers organization, a title that carries significant weight, implying not just athletic importance, but a broader leadership role within the franchise's present and future planning. Doncic is in just his first full season with Los Angeles, yet by all indications, he has already made himself at home. His teammates trust him, his coach trusts him, and increasingly, the city of Los Angeles is trusting him to deliver the kind of championship caliber basketball that this fan base demands. The Lakers still have a long road ahead in the 2025-26 season, and the Western Conference remains as competitive as ever. But when Doncic is playing with this kind of freedom, creativity, and daring, Los Angeles is as dangerous as any team in the league. Nights like the one against Sacramento are exactly why the Lakers made this trade, and exactly why JJ Redick believes this team is capable of something special. Beyond the highlights and the flashy assists, what truly stands out about Doncic's contribution this season is how he elevates the players around him. Rui Hachimura has been one of the beneficiaries getting cleaner looks than he would ever generate on his own because of the attention Doncic commands from opposing defenses. When 2 or 3 defenders collapse on Doncic in the pick and roll, someone on the Lakers perimeter is going to be open, and Doncic has the patience and vision to find that man every single time. That unselfishness, combined with the individual brilliance Redick described, is what truly separates elite playmakers from the rest of the league. It is not just about scoring, it is about making the entire team better, game after game, whether the matchup is difficult or comfortable. Coming off one of their better weekends of the 2025-26 NBA season, the Los Angeles Lakers received some unwelcome news on Tuesday morning. Veteran forward Maxi Kleber, who had been riding a wave of positive momentum after several impactful appearances off the bench, was downgraded to questionable for the team's Tuesday night matchup against the New Orleans Pelicans due to back soreness. It is a frustrating development for a team that had entered Tuesday with a clean injury report for the first time in quite a while, a rare occurrence that had brought a sense of relief to the Lakers training staff and coaching group. Kleber, 33, is a familiar face in the NBA's Western landscape. He spent the bulk of his professional career with the Dallas Mavericks before landing in Los Angeles, and his history with back issues is not new. While back soreness may sound minor on the surface, for a veteran of his age and with his medical history, it is the kind of ailment that must be managed with care. The Lakers were cautious in their approach, choosing to list him as questionable rather than force him into activity that could aggravate the condition further. Despite not logging heavy minutes this season, Kleber has made a noticeable impression on everyone inside the Lakers organization. Head coach J.J. Redick, who spoke about Kleber at length following Sunday's blowout victory over the Sacramento Kings, was direct in his assessment of what the German forward brings to the table, even when his contributions don't always show up in the box score. He's a terrific teammate, Redick said. It's easy to root for his success. He's not the same that he was when he was at his peak in Dallas, when I thought he was one of the most impactful and versatile defenders in the NBA. But he just plays winning basketball. Very, very unselfish and selfless. That quote captures something essential about Kleber's role with this Lakers team. At this stage of his career, he is not expected to be a starter or a primary option in the rotation. What the Lakers need from him is energy, professionalism, and the ability to make smart decisions on both ends of the floor when called upon. And by all accounts, from within the locker room, that is exactly what he delivers. The praise for Kleber extended well beyond the coaching staff. Luka Doncic, who played alongside Kleber for years in Dallas and knows his game perhaps better than anyone on the current roster, did not hold back when asked about the veteran forward after Sunday's game against Sacramento. Since our days in Dallas, I really enjoyed just all the things that he sometimes doesn't show on the statistics, but to play with him is amazing, Doncic said. It was a telling endorsement from the team's franchise player, the kind of praise that carries real weight in a locker room and speaks to the type of character Kleber brings to the group on a daily basis. Rui Hachimura was equally vocal in his appreciation. The Lakers forward offered perhaps the most detailed breakdown of what Kleber means to the team's overall culture and day-to-day environment, going beyond game-related contributions to speak to the veteran's presence as a leader and energizer. He's the guy that makes our team, Hachimura said. He has good energy. He always brings good energy to the team. We always talk about how we need to be more like Maxi. I know how he approaches this every day and brings positive energy, whether he plays or not. He is always on the bench cheering for the team and trying to help the team win. He's a vet, almost 35, so he knows exactly what his role is, and when he gets a chance to play, he always makes hustle plays. He likes to do that stuff. It is the kind of locker room character that championship teams are built on. The veteran presence that keeps younger players grounded, that provides steadiness when the emotional swings of a long season begin to take their toll. Kleber may not be the player he was at his Dallas peak, but his influence on this Lakers roster is real and tangible. The timing of this injury concern is somewhat delicate. The Lakers are trying to maintain the positive momentum generated by their back-to-back wins this past weekend and do not want to stumble heading into what should be a manageable home matchup against the Pelicans. New Orleans has had its own injury challenges this season and ranks among the weaker teams in the Western Conference standings. If Kleber is ultimately ruled out for Tuesday night's game, the Lakers will need other bench contributors to step up and fill the void. J.J. Redick will have to manage his rotation accordingly, and the team will be hoping the back soreness is nothing more than routine stiffness that clears quickly. The Lakers cannot afford extended absences from anyone in their rotation at this stage of the season, as the Western Conference playoff race continues to tighten with each passing week. For now, the focus remains on getting Kleber healthy and back into the lineup as soon as possible. Back soreness can linger and worsen without proper rest and treatment, and the Lakers medical staff will be monitoring his status closely in the coming days. Tuesday's game against the Pelicans will serve as an early indicator of just how serious the situation might be. But in the larger picture, the overwhelming message from inside the locker room is clear. Maxi Kleber matters to this team far more than his minutes or statistics suggest. He is a veteran presence that the Lakers value deeply, and his teammates and coaches have made that abundantly obvious with their words this week. Of all the storylines swirling around the Los Angeles Lakers as the 2025-26 NBA regular season moves through its final stretch, none carries more weight or more uncertainty than the future of LeBron James. The four-time NBA champion and living legend is currently in his 23rd season in the league, his 8th with the Lakers, and his contract expires at the end of this year. That simple fact has generated constant speculation throughout the basketball world. Will LeBron retire? Will he return to Los Angeles? Could he make one final dramatic move elsewhere before hanging up his sneakers for good? The answer, according to multiple league sources cited by The Athletic's Dan Woik, is that nobody knows yet, including, quite possibly, James himself. Sources told The Athletic that all of LeBron's biggest career decisions, leaving Cleveland to join Miami, returning home to Northeast Ohio, and then signing with the Lakers, were not made until well after the season had ended. The pattern is consistent. James does not make permanent life-altering decisions in the middle of a grueling 82-game season, and this offseason is expected to be no different. One league source was direct on the matter, noting that James is smart enough to understand that making any irreversible call while in the middle of the physical and emotional demands of a full NBA season would simply be foolish. That measured approach is vintage LeBron James. Throughout his career, he has treated major decisions with the same level of deliberate thought that he brings to his preparation on the court. Nothing is rushed. Everything is evaluated from multiple angles. And when the time is right, and when the season has ended and the dust has settled, he will survey the landscape of the league, consult with those closest to him, and make the decision that serves his best interests and legacy. The fact that he has not yet tipped his hand should surprise no one who has followed his career closely. James addressed his future directly during NBA All-Star Weekend, making clear that he had not yet arrived at any firm conclusion. He acknowledged the questions, appreciated the curiosity, but firmly set expectations. There would be no announcement during the season. Fans, reporters, and front offices around the league would simply have to wait. This waiting period naturally fuels speculation, and there is no shortage of theories about where LeBron might end up. The most emotionally resonant possibility is a return to the Cleveland Cavaliers, the franchise he led to the most memorable championship in NBA history back in 2016 when the team came back from 3 games down to defeat the Golden State Warriors. Reports have surfaced in recent weeks suggesting that players from Cleveland's current roster, which has developed into one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, have been interested in recruiting James back to Ohio for one final chapter. Other scenarios remain on the table as well. James could re-sign with the Lakers, continuing to play alongside Luka Doncic in what would be a fascinating pairing of 2 all-time greats at very different stages of their careers. There is also the possibility, though perhaps less discussed, that James could choose to retire outright, walking away from the game on his own terms with an unmatched resume and a legacy that is secure regardless of what happens next. What is certain is that everyone watching the Lakers right now could be witnessing the final weeks and months of the greatest career in modern basketball history. LeBron James, at age 41, continues to defy every expectation about what is physically possible for a human being at his stage of life. His presence in the locker room, his leadership, and his on-court contributions remain genuinely meaningful to a Lakers team that is fighting for a playoff position in the brutally competitive Western Conference. James himself has said nothing to indicate which direction he is leaning, and if the historical precedent holds, he will not be saying anything definitive for quite some time. The decision will come in the offseason, deliberate, calculated, and final. Until then, the greatest show in basketball continues, and every game LeBron James plays deserves to be savored, because no one, not even LeBron, knows how many are left. The broader context makes this decision all the more fascinating. LeBron James has spent over 2 decades reshaping the NBA. not just as a player, but as a cultural and business force. His influence extends far beyond the court into media, entertainment, and social advocacy. Whatever he decides to do next will send ripples across the entire sports world. Teams across the league are quietly monitoring the situation. Front offices are drawing up contingency plans. Agents are circling, and yet none of that external pressure appears to be rushing James toward any premature announcement. His teammates on the Lakers have been careful to avoid putting any pressure on him publicly. The organization itself has stayed measured in its public statements, understanding that a superstar of James's stature deserves the space and time to make such a monumental decision on his own terms and timeline. Los Angeles will make its case, the city always does, but ultimately this is LeBron's call to make, and he will make it when he is good and ready.